Today I'm sharing my story, how I went from a struggling musician working in a bagel shop for minimum wage just to get by, to thriving business owner and creative entrepreneur. So grab your favorite beverage and let's chat. To start the story, we're gonna go way, way back. But first, if you're new here, my name's Tanya. I'm a musician, blogger, passive income, and SEO specialist. And if you're not new here, welcome back. I'm so happy to share this story with you. Now we're gonna go way back to the 1990s where boy bands ruled, 90210 was the thing, and I was in high school. I was determined to go to college, but I came from a very poor family, and my parents sat me down and said, you keep talking about college, but if you're going to go to college, you're going to have to figure out how to pay for it because there's no way we can afford it. So I did. I applied for every scholarship I could find, whether I qualified or not. And I got a full ride to college, and it was totally awesome, except scholarships are still limited. I needed a way to survive while I was there. I needed a job. And if you've ever been in the music school space, having a job is tough. So I quickly figured out I could get a job working minimum wage and struggle to get by, or I could start teaching private music lessons for more than double the amount of money, work fewer hours, and still have tons of time to practice and study. Hence, I had just created my first business and I didn't even know it. Next up, graduate school. Because yes, I was in college for 10 years. That's how I have that little doctor in front of my name. Well, in graduate school, I had a lot of scholarship, but it did not completely cover my tuition. I did what all my professors told me to do. I took out student loans because according to my professors, everybody does it. It's the norm. It's the only way you can get through graduate school. So that's what I did. After school was paid for and I got my refund check from my student loan, I had the equivalent of about $25 a week to live on. So I once again got busy building out a private music studio. I was teaching music lessons and I was making money, but it still didn't give me quite enough to survive. So I did what everybody else did in college, and I started using my credit card to cover the rest. Now, I wasn't even using my credit card for fun stuff like fancy clothes or going out to dinner. I was using my credit card to buy groceries, to buy essentials just to get by. But of course, that meant that I was ranking up the credit card debt because I was only making the minimum payments. That's all I could afford. But it was going to be okay because I was going to graduate with my doctorate. I was going to get a job as a full-time university professor and make total bank and be fine. But if you've ever looked at the salary of a full-time university professor, it's kind of laughable. But I didn't know that at the time. I was led to believe that I was going to be set. I graduated with my doctorate. There were 50 university positions open and I applied for all of them. And I made the cut down to the final 2 applicants in 2 of those positions. They flew me out for interviews. I got wined and dined. And well, in both instances, they went with a candidate with more experience, which no shade to them. That is totally understandable. Now I have all of this credit card debt. I have no job. And now I'm about to have a student loan payment on top of that. So what do? I look for gigs as a musician, but I also start building out yet another private music studio where I'm located now. I'd done it twice before, so why not a third time? And that is when I started working for myself full time. The next year comes around and there are only 5 positions open in the entire state. Quickly, I learned that this was a cutthroat business and I did not have the experience other candidates had at the time with so few jobs opening. This was also the beginning of universities moving to adjunct positions. And if you haven't seen my video on how much I make as an adjunct professor, I will link that in the description below because it will blow your mind. I was doing okay though. I had a music studio. I was getting by. I was paying my bills. Then summer hit. Tons of students stopped taking lessons over the summer for camps and family vacations. And all of a sudden, I was no longer able to pay my rent. So I took a job in a bagel shop for minimum wage, even though I had my doctorate and my own business just so I could get by. It was not a fun job. It was a miserable experience. And that summer, I vowed it would never happen to me again. So I doubled down on my music studio. I got creative and I found new ways to bring in even more money doing that job to where it was completely sustainable for me until it wasn't. You see, I teach music lessons in Tennessee, and it's one of 2 states that allows music teachers to go into the schools and teach music lessons within the schools. I get to pull students out of their band class and give them their music lessons as a private contractor. Well, the school system decided that they may be cutting that program, and I panicked. I had flashbacks to that bagel shop job, and I was not about to let that happen to me again. Everything was on the line. We didn't know what was going to happen. Luckily, it didn't happen. However, this got me thinking I was keeping all of my eggs in one basket, and that is just not okay when you own your own business, because the handle of that basket breaks and your business is gone. I knew that I had a website and I knew I should be able to make money from it, but nothing was coming in. So I took a course on search engine optimization. I knew that there should be a way to make it happen, but all the bros teaching that course all told me that I would never be successful with my musician website. I needed a niche website that I could put tons of product reviews on, and that's the only way I was going to make money. So I did it. I created my coffee website, and you know what? It did start bringing in revenue. I was making consistent monthly income on affiliate revenue as well as ad revenue with that website. So I started tweaking the system I'd learned, and I finally figured out the secret sauce to make my other websites start performing. And it started bringing in money as well. So now I had 2 websites bringing me in additional income through my blogs on each website. I knew that there was no one else out there teaching my system that I had developed. So I started working with a business coach because I wanted to help bring this to other creatives. I wanted to help bring the system to those who thought there was no way their websites were going to be able to convert for them. Those people who thought they were always going to be trading their time for money, teaching music lessons, or providing services. And I wanted to change that. I built out my first course and it was successful. So I built out my second course. It was even more successful. But I wanted to go beyond courses. I wanted to work with people one-on-one in private coaching. The problem is, if you are a creative, paying for one-on-one coaching when you're really struggling is really hard. I know when I did it, the thought of paying $10,000 to a business coach made me want to cry. I was terrified, and literally I was on the verge of being sick when I clicked the purchase button, but it was the best decision I ever made. I created masterclasses that I taught live, recorded them, and then sold the recordings on my website. They're still available there right now, my $29 masterclass series, because I wanted to make my information as accessible as possible to people just like me. And that's also what brought me to my group coaching program that I have now, Creative SEO. It teaches you not just how to get your website found on Google, it also shows you how to make passive sales through the lens of SEO so that you no longer have to keep trading your time for money. Because trading hours for dollars is just, well, no bueno. And that brought me to where I am now. I have 7 different streams of income bringing in money every single month. I also have other income streams that are just starting out or are currently in the works that will also be built out over the next few years. I own my own home. My car is paid for. My student loans are finally paid off. And while I still use a credit card to get frequent flyer miles because I love to travel and make sure to do it at least 4 times a year, I pay that balance off in full every single month. And because I have multiple income streams, if something happens like the Google helpful content update and one of my websites tanks, I have at least 6 others. So it's just an inconvenience and it's not devastating. No one should keep all of their eggs in one basket. You need a diversified income portfolio so that you too can be financially free. So I hope you found this little chat inspiring. I hope you stick around, hit that subscribe button, and until next time, peace out.